Hello, all. So, got some news. Let's see what's going on. University of Cincinnati student alleges professor failed her for using the term biological woman. How dare she? A sophomore at the University of Cincinnati claimed her blah, blah. Olivia, that's an abuse of the English language. Kralzik, 20, said her professor for women's gender studies in pop culture. Jesus Christ, that's long as shit. What's the acronym? WGSPC class failed her for using the exclusionary term despite admitting that she submitted a solid proposal, the student told the Post. Well, why would you use biological woman instead of just saying woman? The course instructed students to pick a topic related to feminism, with crawled threw up in my own mouth, choosing to research the changes female athletes have experienced throughout history and the rights and opportunities they have been awarded and fought for in athletics. Okay, so that's why she used biological woman, and that's probably why it's divisive, especially in the gender studies class. Genders in pop culture, though. Women's gender studies in pop culture. Useless class. I don't understand how anyone qualifies to teach that, and why any university would pay someone to teach such a useless piece of shit. But hey, people want it, so they put it there. Supply and demand. Her project discussed things like the first woman to compete in the Olympic Games, to fight female athletes like Riley Gaines are making for proposal. Okay. To fight the chemistry. To the fight. Okay. The chemistry major said her project ended by sharing how these rights and opportunities are being threatened by allowing men to compete in women's sport. Well, is it really a right? Why does, I mean, that sounds like a privilege, really. Because sports itself is competitive, and women didn't want to compete with the men because they couldn't really win. So they gained the privilege to have a completely separate division that is subsidized by the men's league in order to give the women something that they themselves can have. I mean, women have their own records and all this stuff that is completely independent of the men's records, because they can't beat the men's records. And if they had to compete based on the men's standards, which would be equality, which would be fairness, but not fairness in a biological sense. But I mean, if you're faster runner than a cat or whatever, you know what I mean? You have an advantage. You just, if we're judging based on a human standard, the male athletes lead the records based on humans, right? So that would be fair. So what Title IX did was it gave the women not really a fair shot. It just gave them the special privilege, which is sexist, essentially gave them a special privilege to have their own league where they can compete and they can have their own thing, and they give a chance for the best female athletes who work hard to actually be able to do what they love to do and actually be recognized for their talents. Because if they're going up against the men, no matter how good they are, how hard they work, they're never going to be able to be recognized, which is something I can appreciate and something I can respect. So I can understand why having people transitioning and going into their sport and now taking that away from them, it's kind of fucked up, right? It's kind of fucked up, because then it eliminates the whole purpose of the league, because now you're pretty much you're taking away their opportunities to compete and show the results of their hard work and actually be respected for how much work they put into this and the records that they're breaking and the standards that they're setting. And you're essentially taking that away from them and now making it just an embarrassing circus. Now all their hard work is just pretty much it's just shoved in their faces how little all of that effort that they put in actually matters when there's a biological advantage, which is just like, why do that? I mean, to the women too. Like, why do that to the women? Like, what? Why do they deserve? You know what I mean? To be shitted on like that? Like, that just doesn't seem. It just doesn't seem right to me. But I I could just be biased and just want the ladies to have their own thing and their day in the sun, because I kind of feel sorry for them for being in that position, especially as an athlete and having that disadvantage. It just, yeah. Anyways, the chemistry major said her project ended by sharing these rights and opportunities are being threatened by allowing men to compete in women's sports. May 19th at 11:46 a.m. Olivia, this is a solid proposal. However, the terms biological women are exclusionary and not, well, you obviously don't think it's a solid proposal because biological woman is pretty much the basis of her whole argument, are exclusionary and not allowed in this course as they further reinforce heteronormativity. That's when you know the course was useless. Please reassess your topic and edit it to focus on women's rights, not just females, and I'll regrade. Wow. Wow. Women's studies class and females are exclusionary. If what women say, these feminists say about the patriarchy and men taking away their rights was true, then I gotta say men are really good at taking away women's rights, because as soon as women start gaining powered feminism and they get more privileges than the men, people started transitioning left and right and just taking them down a notch. Like, it's starting to seem like these ladies might actually have a point. They might actually be a patriarchy, because it seems like men are really good at just taking back control. Like, there's no way, there's no way, because as a man, I know it's not true. But like, when you look at it from just like the news and the way that things are going, you're just like, damn, dudes really are good at just taking away whatever little advantage these ladies got, to the point where we just like, if we can't beat them, just join them to the next level. Like, that is crazy. The professor wrote in the comment for the failed mark that the term biological woman is forbidden to use in the class. I'm not saying that name, who hasn't identified the professor for fear she may be subjected to online harassment. Okay. First made the claim in a now viral TikTok, which has been viewed more than 1.8 million times. The clip shares an apparent photo of the zero grade and the professor's comment, which reads, Olivia, this is, the final grade is based on the very few assignments we have, adding up to 200 total points. All grades related to the specific project add up to 100 points, which is half my grade. Yeah, you're going to have to choose another topic. Drop the class. Why even get that class? What is wrong with you? The project in general was very broad, and the students had a lot of freedom to pick a topic. Why is there a picture of this lady? The University of Cincinnati student alleges professor failed her for using it. Okay. But this is not her, right? uh Kroll's who competed in cross. Okay, so that is her. Okay, well, not bad. Who competed in cross country and track throughout high school and the beginning of her college career, says more students should challenge the rhetoric being forced by the professors. You can't. I'm sorry. I love how women complain about this stuff where their feminism is beginning taken over. Like, you all supported this. It wasn't the men. Men were told there's patriarchy, and you all need to talk about your feelings, and you need to step back and not uh, deal with women's issues and take away our rights and all this stuff. So the men took a step back, and these ladies pretty much, they acted off their emotions, and they created a situation where all of their spaces just got invaded because they opened it up. They opened it up because they felt like they wanted to be accepting and all this stuff. But it's just like, if you wanted to support women's rights and women's issues and all this stuff, uh, you should have been, the last thing you would want to do is exclude the men, because the number one protectors of women's rights and women's issues and all that stuff are men. I mean, men created like, women have been having periods since the beginning of human history, but it took a man to invent a tampon. Like men care more about women's issues than anybody else. So excluding the men was the first sign of your downfall. And now some dudes transitioning and invading your spaces, and or saying they're transition and invading your spaces. Like, I don't know what you expect us to do. I personally, I care. I care that this is happening, and the women's sports are getting invaded, and all these ladies are not getting, the recognition that they deserve. But also, I'm not going to do shit about it. I'm not going to complain about it. I don't give a fuck, because patriarchy, like, men have been lambasted enough, and I'm just not. I just don't care. Like, to be honest with you, I've dealt with, like, what is, like, at least fucking 2 years of men being treated like the boogeyman, and we're somehow oppressing ladies. I'm not solving your problems. Sorry, you're gonna have to deal with your own shit. It's your problem now. Deal with it. Anyways, till next time.